Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I'm here with JR, and we are both with Inland Empire Couples Counseling. And we're really excited to announce that we are now offering premarital counseling as a program. And I am here to do a little interview with JR so that he can tell us about the premarital counseling program. So, just to start out, what would you say? And this is for me like an honest question because I have never done it as a client. Tell me, what are the benefits of doing premarital counseling?
So there's so many benefits, and I can share that I've done premarital counseling with my wife, and it was a huge help for us. It gave us once really good insight on our opinions about marriage, right? And our opinions about how we're going to have children and our faith and financial information. So many different backgrounds from it, right? It gives you good communication, right? How your partner communicate with you. How do you guys solve problems together? How do you move through the world, navigate together, right? You can start to build each other's confidence and make decisions, right? Things that you may feel stuck or you may feel unsure about. Through premarital counseling, you'll get that space and an opportunity to really kind of dive deep in that, really bring out that skill that's already there, right? Sometimes we just need some support to kind of bring it up to life so we can have a better understanding of what's kind of going on.
Right. And I would think from my experience of having seen lots of couples after they're married, that sometimes the things we're working on are patterns that were established way back in the beginning of their relationship. And that you may have the benefit of the premarital counseling being that you set up really solid patterns for your communication and problem solving and all of those things from the beginning.
Yeah, and at the beginning, you'll know what needs to be worked on, right? What continue you can grow into, so that way these little anthills don't become mountain peaks, right? That we were able to develop the skill now to work at together, right? Not individual, but together to have where we can have the marriage that you want to be, right? And that's one of the another big benefit.
Love it. So when somebody signs up for premarital counseling with you, what will you cover? What are the
So with
topics?
me, we're going to have two separate programs. So we have our first program, which is a 7-week course. We're going to cover the first part is the engagement, right? Getting to know the couple, doing an assessment, doing background. A lot of me kind of learning them and learning their language and learning your background. I love to hear love stories and how they met and all that gushy stuff. I love it. So I love to
Oh,
hear it.
great.
And then we move on towards communication and identifying some goals. And then we do from there, we go emotional and sexual intimacy and how we connect with our partner and what does that look like. And then we go into conflict management, right, and resolution. And then we go into marital rules and roles and expectations. And then from there, we go from money, marriage, and how that looks like, and who's the breadwinner, how you manage your books together. Is it separate? What's that conversation
So important.
so important. And then the final piece is just the final assessment and the recommendation as we transition to the next level. So that will be a 7-week program. And then our 8-week is the same thing, right? Same topic we're going to cover. Only we're going to add in is just a spiritual component, a spiritual connection. So couples have the opportunity if they want a faith-based approach when it comes to premarital counseling or no faith-based approach with it, and which is a-okay. It is we're just offering just another week, so it'll be 8 weeks instead of the 7 weeks for that.
Right. Okay. So since you mentioned the faith piece, I know that lots of people do premarital counseling through their church or, faith organization. So the next question that I wanted to address is, why do premarital counseling with a licensed therapist? Like, what would be different about doing that with you versus somebody who maybe decides to go through their church?
Good question. So with the licensed therapist, you'll get a different lens, right? A different point of view of your relationship, right? And you're coming from someone who had the time and the training, right? To really give the relationship the fine tuning that it really needs, right? And able to give you some good insight on some background history, right? Especially when dealing with issues of trauma, of hurt and pain, and discords and a lot of things that maybe come up in relationships that may be a potential problem, like infidelity, just different things that a therapist really do the work and give you the tools, right, that's needed for this personal development and the couple identify those couple goals. Is really, really helpful to kind of have that good insight with that.
Yeah. And I would think too, I know I do a lot of work with mixed faith or interfaith families. And
Yeah,
if you were heading into a marriage and you weren't from the same faith, you might have a hard time finding a premarital counseling program that really would fit for you. And so then coming
right.
here and doing this with the therapist would be a great place because the therapist is going to be impartial as far as the faith part goes.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
that's absolutely true. Good point.
yeah. And I think that people also might want to know when they sign up to do premarital counseling with you, is it like a class? Do they just meet one-on-one with you? Like, how does that look?
Good question. No, so we'll do it individual based, no class. So it'll just be you and a couple of myself, and we're going through these steps together. And then, like I said, we are going to identify towards the end, and what's the next level for us? Either we can continue with services, we can always continue that and have that, tune up like your car, right? You take your car in and you get it oil changed and the tires rotated. Same thing with our relationship, right? We need some fine tuning as well, so we can continue service that way after the 7 or 8 weeks. Or we can, have you go off and then, you can always come back if you need some time to refer and kind of want to retweak something to really look at something else you wanted to fine tune. We give you that option as well. So
I have a last question that I didn't prep you for. Who's the ideal person to do premarital counseling? Or if a couple maybe is like planning a long engagement, when should they sign up for this? Because you said 7 or 8 weeks. So like, when should they do it?
that's a good question. So the ideal couple, someone who, really wants to learn more about their partner. I think that's a good trait to have, to really understand where your partner's coming from. And then you the two wanting to create, goals as a unity, a plan kind of moving forward. I think that's another good couple to have openness, right? Just want to try something new, try something different, want to prepare, right, for what's to come. And when this a good time to start it is, whenever both parties are comfortable in doing so, you want both individuals motivated when it comes to something like this. We can tell as therapists, and it's like one partner is pushing the other one, and the lack of participation and engagement really isn't there. So it's really helpful when it's both parties really motivated, wanting to help their partner learn more of them, and vice versa, and kind of create this foundation for this house, right? They're building together, right? The safe space that they're having together. So anytime, yes, it is recommended that, before you get married, to kind of have this going 6 months to 8 months out of your wedding date. We try not to have it if it's like a month or two. This is kind of like really pushing for time. So the sooner, the better, really.
Awesome. And could a newlywed couple do the premarital counseling program if they maybe got married fast or just didn't do it before they got married?
Say it one more time.
Could a newlywed couple benefit from the premarital
Oh,
counseling program?
yeah, so we can still go over the same topics and the same information for a couple who just got married. Yeah, because the basic is will still be there, right? You still just got married, so working in time that minute will still be very helpful and very insightful. So definitely, so newlywed couples, engaged couples, right? And even couples who've been married for 5+ years, right? You may get the same foundation as your premarital counseling, but we can still do work on those same basic skills: communication, right? Trust, engagement, conflict management, right? These are trends that we see here at Inland Empire Counseling Center, those kind of patterns of relationship. And so always great ways to kind of help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JR, for spending some time explaining that to us and answering all the questions. And if anyone is interested in booking some premarital counseling sessions, you can get that started at iecouplescounseling.com.
Thank you so much for having me, Rebecca.
Thank you.